All right, so the biggest thing on people's minds in Minnesota right now is the Chauvin ruling, and I want that to be more of a structured thing. But before I get to it, I need to express how I feel about something else that's, I want to talk about me for a bit and something I have to deal with, and that is technology and troubleshooting it. Well, it's something that I deal with all the time, and I can very quickly find the solution to common problems in less than 5 minutes most of the time, as long as it doesn't involve restarting the machine. That said, other people exist, and, you know, that can be scary enough, especially if you're an American, but also other people are not as good with the troubleshooting of common problems. And thing is, 80% of the time I can figure it out. I can fix it really fast. Why aren't other people as good? And when you think of people who are not as good with technology, you commonly think of someone who is old. You know, boomers in technology. But it's starting to permeate with other people that are younger. Younger people. And even after a pandemic where technology has been used a lot, especially for entertainment, this is worrying, seeing Gen Z struggle with technology, seeing millennials struggle with technology, especially when we have more processing power than ever before. Though it's not growing as fast as was assumed in the mid 2010s when people were freaking out about the robots taking all of our jobs. Here's the thing, the robots are coming for the welders first. And knowing the worldview of welders or having the slightest glimpse of that, that can't happen soon enough. The robots should take the welders as fast as possible, please and thank you. All right, so there's that little tidbit, but like the jobs that are the safest, um, that's jobs involving people acting like people. All right, so we have that going, and when it comes to technology and seeing how difficult it is for people to figure out how to solve basic things that I see as basic problems, but like, if you aren't used to having technology problems and figuring it out on your own, I can understand why you would panic. And panicking is the biggest problem when it comes to troubleshooting technology issues. You need to chill. Okay, people need to chill when they're faced with a technology problem and think about what the problem is, what's causing it. And it's not like I'm asking you to know every component and how it works, though that seems kind of condescending coming from a guy who knows why a diode is the perfect metaphor for the things Republicans say, especially when that guy just made it political again. So, let's just shove that aside. You have a technology problem, and I'm going to provide an example, just a basic example. You have a voice remote for your TV, and it was set to turn your TV on and off. You have that, and now it doesn't work. So, what do? The other buttons work, and you can use them. Those are the tools at your disposal. So, what do you think is going wrong with the remote? Well, the beam doesn't work with the TV. It doesn't work with the volume on the TV. It only works for the dongle, the Roku, Fire, the Android TV, whatever you have. It only works for that and not the TV. So, with the tools that you have, the buttons that you can use, you can turn the TV on, go into the settings of the dongle and figure out in the settings what might fix it. It's usually under remote, and it gives you an option to unpair and pair the remote again with your TV, and there you go, you fix the problem. But that's a very specific example. In general, think about what the problem is, try and get to the setting that is involved and change it. That's for these freak events where power cycling doesn't work, which brings me to the whole power cycling thing. That doesn't always fix it, and when it doesn't, you need to think about what the problem is and make an attempt in settings to fix it. And I know that a lot of Americans are strapped on time, but if you know what the problem is, you can then make an attempt to address it. And there are people who have done this once or twice and have been burned. Like, it completely ruined the device, or they might have called customer service and gotten bad advice that involved wiping the whole thing. You don't always have to do the most drastic thing to fix it. It's often just a setting set the wrong way somehow, whether it's by another app or one of the apps you have, they might have changed something to something you don't like, or sometimes because software works interchangeably with the user, there might be something that makes the feature stop functioning the way you want it to. So you go into settings and you fix it. You just fix it. That's all you have to do. Don't panic. Or just chill out. Give yourself like a minute to think about what the problem is. Make an attempt. Fix it. And I trust that you have the common sense not to change it and make it worse. And that's all it takes, just a little bit of common sense. Like, as long as you narrow it down to the feature or function in question, then you're not going to break the thing. So that's how you troubleshoot things. And but that's the helpful part of the video. And now I simply need to address society at large again, because a lot of people aren't chill. They're not willing to take the first step. They like things the way they are, and when it changes without their knowledge, they freak out, and they have to rely on someone else to change it back. Enter the boomer, my mother, and other people who are not as educated on this. You don't have to know how every component works. You don't need to know how codes work or coding. You don't need to go in and change the software within the lines of code. I have never had to do this to troubleshoot my problems. All I had to do was be curious enough to change things back to the way I liked it. And I'm also able to know how this happens because I'm also curious enough to change settings and understand how they work so that I like them more. So the reason a lot of people out there struggle with technology is because they have a conservative mindset. They like things to be the way they are. They're reluctant to change how their life works. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when that's your whole identity, it's really hard to see someone ranting about technology and how they're using it and how they struggle with it and how other people use it and be judgmental about how other people use it and not think your whole identity is a conservative. You likely are a Republican, but to just assume that would be malpractice because Republicans also have libertarians that are more than happy to create problems with your technology and sell you the solution. So, yeah, and if you're using the American political spectrum, of course you have Democrats struggling with the use of their technology. It's just a bit less likely because the liberal mindset, the socially democratic mindset, and even the libertarian mindset, it's one of curiosity and trying to fix problems. So, of course, people like myself are really fast at finding out how to fix a problem, like some of the buttons on your remote not working, or there's something in your phone freaking out. And I'm willing to try things. I'm willing to try some things that other people would be afraid to do. Now, I'm not saying people should stop being conservatives, but you can roll that identity back when you have a technology problem, because it takes a little bit of curiosity, trial and error, to understand how your technology works and fix it. That is my Minnesota perspective on technology, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.